You're listening to I'm So Vain with Josh Carmichael, only on LA Talk Radio.
All right, here we are. Welcome to I'm So Vain. I'm Josh Carmichael once again. Welcome to our show. We have a really cool show for you today, but before I introduce my awesome guest, I want to send out a thanks to Cornerstone Photography. Not only just a thanks, but they actually donated a $325 gift card that is going to be part of our giveaway. So for those who, for senior pictures, for what portraits, whatever you want to use it for, I have the card in my possession, and it's going to Patreon members. So one of our lucky Patreon members, and in order to get that, qualify for that card, you have to go to patreon.com/I'm So Vain, sign up, and become a member, become a subscriber, and you'll be entered to win that $325 gift card. So thank you to Cornerstone Photography. I think it's a national company, right? So they're all over. So you can use them pretty much anywhere. So there you go. That once you sign up for our Patreon, you'll be entered to win that. So we have that. Also, we have our big ass holiday contests for our tier 3 members on Patreon, patreon.com/I'm So Vain. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll see this on YouTube. I know we're live on LA Talk Radio and we're live on Facebook right now, but also go to youtube.com/C/I'm So Vain. You could search I'm So Vain, you'll find it, but that'll get that going. Okay, let's move on. I'm excited. Our guest is not only a dear friend of mine, but an amazing illusionist. His shows are, how do you say it? They're kind of mysterious and enchanting. And he takes you into another realm, so to speak. It's kind of like going on a vacation to another country, to be honest, because he takes you into a world that's outside of your own world, if that makes sense. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have a chance to see him this Saturday at the Bank of America Performing Arts Center in Thousand Oaks. And so he was only there for one night, this Saturday, the 28th. So check it out. He's, he was a winner. He fooled Penn Teller, and so he won Penn Teller Fool Us, which is cool. You can find that on YouTube. We'll actually post that link on our YouTube page as well, so you can check that show out as well. Really cool guy, just a fun guy to have around as well. And I'm been lucky to have met him a couple of years ago and become a friend. Nothing's missing yet, so I must not be that close to him. So, he hasn't made anything just kind of disappear. But we might see some cool magic. We'll hear about his life and his stories. And again, it's called the Masters of Illusion, right? Right, Master. What's the new
show?
Secrets and Illusion. Sorry, I don't have that on here. Oh yeah, there it is. Secrets and Illusions. I'm sorry, my producer did the right thing. I did the wrong thing. That's what happens when you're live. You screw things up every once in a while, and you get to recover from them, and your face turns red, and you look like a fool. But anyway, Yvonne Amodei.
Hey guys.
Here he is. Thank you.
How's it going? Thank you.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. A lot of fun.
I appreciate it. So, so this is cool. I mean, I was laughing. We were talking about this beforehand,
Yeah.
but the last time I think we hung out, we ended up chatting for about 4 hours.
4 hours at my house. Yeah. That was
and
fun.
we saw.
Wasn't planned, so it was
It
really
was just
cool.
an impromptu,
Yeah.
and we had there was a lot of you. I mean, you showed us some cool magic, some
Yeah.
cool tricks, and what got you started in this world of the illusions and magic? And
I think most people that start magic will either be introduced to it when they're a kid, and
Yeah.
then they either continue to pursue it as a hobby. Most people do pursue it as a hobby, and then a select few somehow either accidentally or pursue it as a career.
yeah,
I actually never pursued it as a career. It just kind of kept happening. And
because
then-
it's not it's kind of like acting or any one of the
yeah,
arts.
I just
it's like you
just
don't
was
know
like a
you're
real
going to make it, right?
Yeah,
It's
I just
like a
really wanted
risk.
to do it. That's what I wanted to do. I graduated from Cal Lutheran University, so I have a degree in marketing and advertising, and I always thought, okay, well, I'll do something with it, and I never knew that it was going to be something that I was going to use for my own career. And so that's what wound up happening. So I got my degree from Cal Lu, and then after that, I was like, you know what? The only person that's going to starve is me, so I'm going to give this a shot.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so I
cool.
just
so
did a lot of
who
corporate
in-
parties, a lot of stuff.
Who inspired you when you were younger? Do you have like?
I don't really have a lot. I mean, when I was growing up, it was like David Copperfield's specials and then stuff like that. The cool part about my industry is that once I started getting more and more into it, I actually started meeting all the guys and girls that I admired, and then they wound up becoming friends of mine, and it was the weirdest. It was like a weird thing where you admire somebody, but now he's at your house cooking dinner with you.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It was
wild.
just one of those wild, like, wow, I can't believe you're standing here. And then, you just become friends, and there's just another person just like anybody else.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for
Yeah, my whole life. 30 years, yeah, my whole life.
a
Yeah,
while
my whole
now.
life, yeah.
And what are some of your fun moments with magic or with the illusions?
When you perform live, like you just said, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know. I've had people faint in my show. I've had ambulance have to come and pick people up. I've had fights break out in my show.
Wow.
I've had fire alarms go off for 5 or 7 minutes where the show has to stop and everybody has to either hold their ears or evacuate. I've had oh God, you name it, I've had it happen. I've had theft. I've had just I don't even know what has not happened to me.
You travel a lot, obviously.
Yeah, I travel a lot.
So when you're going around the country, are there certain audiences that do you have? Is there certain parts of the country that are tougher than others?
Yeah,
or-
I think there are.
I mean-
I don't actually know. Here, what I find is that if they're coming and they buy a ticket and they want to come and see your show, then obviously they're not just like a birthday party magician showing
Right,
up where
right.
the owner or the person hiring you is more, hey, I really like this magician, but all his other guests are there for the food and for the other company, and then they're like, what do you
Yeah.
mean we have a magician? We don't know who this person is.
Yeah.
So it's a little tougher to get those people on your side. And that's where I came from. I have to get all these people on my side that
Right.
absolutely don't know who I am. So I kind of trained myself to go, how do I get these people's attention as quickly as I can? So I kind of come from that. So it's really nice to get on stage when people are like, we're here to see this show, to see this guy, and we're
Yeah.
excited about it. I have a lot less obstacles to overcome.
That's a great. Well, your show is really unique, and for me, I've seen magicians over the
It's
years.
different than a different-
It's way different.
Yeah,
and,
it's really
and like I
different.
said, it kind of transports you to another realm when you talk. And I don't want to give anything away of the show, but when you talk about different features and different things,
Right.
and you kind of go into other countries and history, and there's
Right.
it's not only transporting you, but it's educational as well.
Well, it's fun and educational, yeah. But I think I want it to be. So magic has this one thing that I don't think very many other forms of art or entertainment have, and that is the immediate. You never know if the audience is trying to get you, or they're like, okay, he's a magician and he's going to fool us, but we don't want to be fooled. So I have a very small amount of time at the very beginning to try to just reverse that approach and go, look, guys, it's not about me fooling you. Let's go on this ride together, and we never know how much fun it's going to be and what we might learn from it together.
Right.
So yeah, so my show has this like element where I try quickly to diffuse the whole stop chasing me because you won't enjoy it.
Right.
My analogy is you don't go to a restaurant eat a meal, and then agonize over all the ingredients.
Right.
You know, you're just like, I got to know how he made this, and then you don't enjoy the meal.
Yeah.
And that's magic. You're not going to
Right.
really enjoy it if you're agonizing, trying to reverse engineer what I'm doing.
And I thought you did a great job. You know, the last show we saw where there were some.
There's always
there
going
were
to be.
some customers.
Yeah,
and
totally
I go,
fine.
wow,
But I like it.
You handle it probably better than I would
Yeah,
have.
I
And I'm
like it. I like it. Keeps
and
me,
I thought,
keeps me
you know,
going.
it was not, like I said, it's not only entertaining. It was something I've never seen before. Because
It
it
is
really
different.
it really takes you into a whole other realm, and I love that. And not only you're brilliant, but it's just very entertaining. It's fun to watch.
Well,
And there is a little bit of mystery to it, which I
Yeah.
like too, because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I love that part. I love being surprised.
Right. So the show is really a lot of the show is about people. It's not really about me. So when
Yeah.
you walk in, you're thinking, oh, he's going to do tricks and he's going to do this stuff. Something's going to disappear. But then you start to realize that 99.9% of the show doesn't work unless I have audience participation.
Yeah.
And there's people coming up and there's people going down and people are, doing my Russian roulette routine with the 11-inch butcher knife and talking about facing your fears and, can you get through this with us? And I can see people closing their eyes. I can see the person on stage not wanting to go through this. But if you come to my show and you are not ready or willing to be randomly selected and participate, you're really not going to enjoy it, because
Right.
that's what the whole show is about. The whole show is about you getting involved and things are happening based on suggestions. So that's why my show is never the same twice. It's impossible.
Yeah, because
it's
the
never
audience
the
is
pain.
different.
Yeah.
It's alive.
Yeah. And we talk about...
And it's like the timing of everything too. It's like you never know how long, right?
Right.
And who you're going to get up there, like you
and
said.
it is
really makes it.
One of the things that I don't listen to Howard Stern that much, but I do remember him saying one time the reason why he was so successful is because his viewers or his listeners were always like, what is he going to say and do next? He always kept them right at the edge. Like, I got to listen through the whole thing so I can hear what's coming.
Yeah.
And in my show, I try to do the same thing where I'm like, and everybody's going, where is he going with this? Where in the world is this going to end up? And then it ends up, and you're like, where did that come from?
I agree.
So that's how it's a story that builds up to some sort of a crazy finish in little vignettes, little sections.
So where does your, I don't want to say ideas come from, but how do you, you come up with new stuff all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it could be anywhere. I was when my kids were young, I took them to a sandwich shop. I was taking my daughter to the restroom. On the board, on the wall, was a big map with little thumbtacks in them.
Uh-huh.
And those thumbtacks were basically just all of their franchise locations all over the country.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wow, that's an illusion. And then I created an illusion in which I swallow a shot glass full of needles, of Taylor pins, and they all have colored little heads on them. Mm-hmm. And I swallow them, and they're all various colors, red, green, yellow. They all go down. You see me shoot them down. Then I take a globe and I spin it on my finger, and I ask people, the most important place in the world to you would be where you were born. And I say, randomly, where were you born? Where were you born? Where were you born? And they name those locations, and then I start bringing the needles back out and spinning them onto a spinning globe. And when you look closely on the globe, those are in the exact spots
They
of where
hit.
everybody said they were
Wow.
born.
Okay, that blows my mind.
Yeah,
Just thinking about it.
and it has
Like,
more
what?
of a story to it. It has
Wow.
a Houdini storyline on it.
That's a great visual, though.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
really
like,
visual
because
effect.
I've seen your stuff, and I'm like,
But I
wow,
mean, it can be
that's-
anywhere. I can be anywhere thinking about. I could take that and make that an illusion if I just figure out what the humanity part of it is. What's the storyline? Why does it matter?
So you just see. So that's like you
I might
just see
like a comedian might see a joke and just
Yeah.
going through TSA.
Well, like I'm more of a writer, so I see
Yeah.
I hear a conversation, I go, oh my god, I have to make a note.
Right.
of it. That's
So
a story.
I'm
There's a
constantly,
story.
I'm
so you
constantly
see
on the
it
prowl
as a
of
visual.
like looking at everything and going, That's an illusion. That's an illusion.
That's crazy.
That's an illusion. And then comedians are going, that was the most absurd TSA line I've ever been through. And then he just takes it on stage and makes it 100 times crazier, and it's funny.
Yeah. That's brilliant, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That it's like, so this
you just got to be really aware of what's going on.
It was kind of like you were born that way, probably. I mean, there was something in you that...
Somebody told me, it's like, Yvonne, if you were on the moon by yourself, you'd figure out how to do magic with the rocks. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe.
That's true. That's very cool.
I really love it. I mean, it's fun. It's got its ups and downs, of course, but, I've had, you were asking me about my craziest moments. I wrote a book called Magic's Most Amazing Stories. I called all my friends from all over the world, David Copperfield, David Blaine, I called them all. And I said, hey, give me the craziest story that has ever happened to you live on stage. And I've gotten stories about the elephant getting indigestion in front of 8,000 people on a stage. You want to hear the rest of that story, right?
Yeah, right.
You're like, oh my God, I'm going to make an elephant disappear. In the meantime, what's remained on stage, right? Funny, crazy stories.
That's a good one.
Really nuts. So stuff. I had an incident in Boston where I was there, and I was doing a series of 5 shows in a week, and somebody broke into our theater, my green room, and cleaned me out.
Really?
Yeah, and I had a show beginning the next day. It was like 9:30 at night on a Thursday. My first show was at, I think, 7 p.m. on Friday.
Oh, wow.
And I am here left with nothing. And I had to make a plan.
Like props and everything?
Yeah, I called my wife. I called everybody, and I said, what do you think? And they're like, you can't cancel. You got to figure this out.
So what?
I took all night and laid out my game plan for the following morning to get a cab and him stay with me while I traveled through Boston finding all the props that I needed and Jimmy rigging anything I needed. Like I needed champagne glasses for my illusion, which I produce goldfish from bubbles, and I put them in champagne glasses until there's 30 glasses filled with fish. So he took all my glasses. So he didn't take anything that was like proprietary. He just took things that I needed to do my show. So I needed to go and retrieve everything. And so it was just...
Did you ever find out who it was?
No, we never really... Well,
so don't they have security there?
They did. They had security, but it was a whole... I don't want to talk about it, but it was a whole mess with, trying to find the security. My goal was I needed a show.
You made it work out.
Yeah. So I showed up. I did my show. Nobody knew except for my staff that I was on no sleep. I was on no sleep and improvising all of it. Yeah. And the audience didn't know any better, and they shouldn't have to know.
Yeah, no,
they shouldn't have to know my problems on stage. Yeah,
it's like we don't talk about
right.
Well, it's the show must go on.
But we're people, and things happen, and you just got to deal with it as a professional. You just got to go. They paid a ticket. They came here.
Definitely challenging. That was a challenging one.
It was a challenge. It was very stressful. It was very stressful, but.
But did you learn? I mean, was there like a
what I think about
moment out of that?
Yeah. So here's the thing: when you have really, really stressful moments, I talk about this in my show. I talk about different things in my show about finding your destiny. I talk about making the right decisions. I talk about all that sort of stuff. But that evening of the amount of stress I went through, after that, very few things could come to the level of that. So when things happen to me today.
Yeah.
My stage manager will bring it to me thinking it's a 10, and to me it's around a 1.
You're like, that's nothing.
That's nothing. And now he's starting to realize not a lot's going to affect him. He's been through a war, and these are just little battles we got to deal with. So at the time it's no fun, but now it helps me because I deal with things much more on a,
it's amazing. You and I
it's not as bad as that.
You and I talked a lot about this, and we were hanging out,
and that's life, right?
And I love that. I love that about you, and that's I think the reason we could go. And I talk about this on the show a lot. It's about those moments in life, like what are our changing moments, like what impacted your life to make you a better person, or a stronger person, or a more aware person, and all that. And it really is the hardships and the traumas and the stuff that we go through, and then we get through it. We get through the other side. Because I always do this to help other people that, people watching, people listening. They may be going through a struggle.
Absolutely. Everybody has their battles.
We all have our issues, right?
Absolutely.
So it depends on the day. And like you said today, the some of the moments are like a 1 compared to a 10 level.
100%.
Today I might have a 3 or whatever.
Exactly.
But you go, okay. So how can, if other people hear, you and I and talking about this, I think those are the moments that, like we were talking when we were, at your house, those are the moments that you share with people, and you bring that, and that's what I really admire about you and I like about you, and I think that's another reason why we're also friends.
Yeah.
But to sit there and not only know you as a person, but to see that come through on stage, it elevates people's awareness. And I love that, because that's why I said it was educational. I didn't mean like educational, like I learned a math problem, but it was,
found something that I said in you.
Exactly, right. And I related to that, or I connected to the issue or the circumstance.
Exactly.
And I went, wow, I can. And I remember telling Nancy when we saw the show, I was like, wow, I can. That's me.
Totally.
Like you connect to it, and there's an emotional connection, and those are, in my opinion, the greatest, because that takes us to the next level.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that happens, because my goal, a lot of magicians and friends of mine, we've had long discussions about the goal of the show, the goal of their show.
Yeah.
And I have my own spin on what my goal is. My goal is not to trick you. My goal is not to fool you. My goal is to touch your soul. That's it.
I like that.
If there's any way that you leave and going, well, you didn't fool me, I don't really care. If there's another way, if he goes, well, I understood how he did everything, more power to you.
Right.
But if you walk away and say, you know what? He said something about face your fears. Then he demonstrated it in front of 2,000 people. And take the leap. I'm going to go and do that tomorrow. Then my show succeeded. Even if it was that one person.
So when you hear I hear you, and I agree, and I see the way that people came to you after the show. When you hear the feedback, does that
if
the payoff?
I hear more and more of the good stuff, which is, aside from all the little details and technical things, like we love the show, okay, great,
or whatever, yeah,
great, okay, that's great. I'm so happy that you enjoyed this part of it. I'm trying to say, I'm not perfect, and I'm up here, and this is my therapy. Every single time I go on stage, I keep going, hey, idiot, you need to go face your own fears, just like you tell people to do it. And I don't do it. I just don't do it enough. And I need to continue to remind myself that you're faced with X, Y, and Z every single day, and you're failing. So when I get on stage and I say it, I'm like, I'm a hypocrite, because I didn't do this yesterday. So for me, it's really my own therapy to be up there. And I do it in a way that, feels like I'm Superman, but I'm not. There's no way.
Yeah.
Anybody can be that.
Because we all have, we all have our insecurities and our fears and our stuff.
I'm just driving the bus, and I'm making sure that everybody's like, okay, he's the bus driver, and we're good. We're all safe on this bus right now, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, and you're taking us on that journey.
Right.
I thought it was wonderful I sat back after the show and watched everybody kind of meet and greet you, and I love that too, because I'm excited for you, and I just saw how. It was magical. No pun intended.
If people come up and they say that they liked more than just the superficial stuff that they saw, then I think that I'm going to.
Well, you connect to the people. That's what I think is most important. You're not just an illusionist. You're not just a magician. You are I guess, for lack of a better term, motivational and inspirational,
like a coach,
because
Tony Robbins is a coach. That's what he calls himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's a self-help guru or whatever you want to call him. But,
but not in a like a preachy way.
No, that's what I meant. But you motivate them through the illusion.
Right. So the illusion will describe. My first illusion is about making the right choices. Okay?
Right.
So my first illusion, if you see my show, it's about my dad.
Yeah.
Nobody even knows that.
No, I don't think I knew that.
even the people that work for me, they are just like, the illusion deals with one audience member having to make a choice on stage in front of 1,000 people, and how that choice will affect whether their life goes to the left or to the right.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's deep.
And which direction is this gonna go? And it's all about you being able to say yes and no to the circumstances that hit you in your life. And do you make the right choices or do you not? That was 100% motivated by my dad.
Wow.
And I decided to take what I've learned from my dad, God rest his soul, he passed away last year, and say, how can I make this an illusion that's entertaining, it's fun, it's lighthearted, but it has a really deep message that if you made the wrong choices in your life and you are where you are, do not become a victim and say, I'm here because of everybody around me. You are here because of what choices you made.
Absolutely.
End of story. The only person you can look at is the person in the mirror.
I love that. That's my book. That's what
it.
I wrote. That's what we talk about.
If you make the right choices, you're gonna reap the rewards.
Yeah,
because it's a natural.
I love that you made that.
So that's the first illusion of my choice.
You made that illusion even deeper for me, and now I'm going, because I remember being affected by it. Nancy, if you remember we were like, wow, that it like touched a personal thing in me, and now I know why.
Yeah. And I don't tell everybody what every single illusion.
No,
my last illusion in my show is about my children.
Yeah,
and that's it. I'm not going to give it away because it's a
don't say anymore. Don't you have to go see the show?
Precious illusion to me. Yeah, it's a really it's really.
First of all, I'm assuming there's still a few tickets available for the show on Saturday.
I don't take a look at those all the time, but I'm sure if you go on the website, go to ivanamodei.com. It's the first one because it's the next one this coming weekend, and you look at Ticketmaster, it'll tell you what's left.
Yeah.
So the last illusion is about my children and the day that they were born and how that affected me and what I used to think was important before they were born. And then once I met them, I went, wow, all that stuff's not important anymore. Now I have a new set of things that are important to me.
Yeah.
And that illusion is all about
Isn't that crazy? Like because we're both fathers before being a father.
Right. Everything changed.
It's like it's all about me, at least for me. And
now
I'm on my own path. I'm on my own road. And then that little baby pops out and you go, oh shit, I'm nothing.
And then people around you might think that you're all still about you. But your internal motivation's not.
But now
you
it's
anymore.
like, no,
you're like, you don't understand what I'm doing all this for.
It's not
about me anymore.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I used to, but now you don't think I work this hard because it's just about me.
I just told my 19-year-old son now. I told him a couple days ago. We had coffee over the weekend, and
I think I saw a picture of you hugging him.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is my younger one. But that's Ethan. Yeah, he's the younger one. He's a little bit taller.
Yeah.
But I told Wyatt, my oldest son, I said, my job is to be here and protect you, and they forget about this as they get older.
Totally.
They just think that it's mom and dad, and
that's right.
But our job, and it's so emotional for me because it's like it's so deep. Like you can't explain that. Like I didn't know what being a parent was before being a parent.
Right.
And it's intense. I mean, it's just there's a whole other.
I did magic one time for when Demi and Ashton were married. When they were married. I know Ashton, and he called me up and he said, come over. I want you to do magic for me and my buddies, and when can you get here? So I went to his house. First time I had met Demi, and she was like the sweetest person I've ever met. She took my coat. She got me food. She was like I couldn't even, I'm like, you don't have to do all this. But what was really interesting was because I got friendly with her, and I said, I hope you don't mind if I ask you, how do you cry on a dime? Like, how do you do that?
Right.
And at the time when I asked her, I didn't have children. And she just goes, all I have to do is think about my kids.
Wow. There you go.
She goes, all I have to do is think about a moment that I had there's a moment I can't tell you what it is, but I think about that moment and I can cry instantly.
That's a good one, yeah.
And then I went, I don't understand that.
You don't connect to
Trust
it
yet.
me,
I understand it now.
You could
I
do
could
it now.
do it right now.
Don't do it right now.
No, I won't. But I get it though.
You don't have to go there right now.
So unless you've experienced it, you may never relate.
It's the one thing
you may never relate to it.
And it's so funny. I read every book about being a parent. What is it? What to expect when expecting, and every father and son and all this. I read every one of them before my kids came out. None of them made sense.
That's right.
None of them worked.
And then
because you can't.
You have to experience something.
You really do. It's something you can't talk.
Somebody can't teach it to you. You can't learn it in school.
And somebody could tell you 100. We could talk about it.
Yeah.
You could tell. I mean, there have been so many books written about it and whatever.
Sure.
It's just something. Which is really beautiful. It's something unique to itself.
That's right.
Like magic.
That's right.
because there's a difference between like magic and illusion and magic and reality. We were talking about this a bit earlier.
Yeah, so
right?
I had somebody come over and ask me the other day, what is the difference in definition between magician and illusionist?
Okay.
Some of my friends may say that there is absolutely no difference. Those two words are synonymous. And I think, well, maybe. So I think a magician is a technician, is the person that is able to accomplish this impossible thing through the skill that he's acquired. I think an illusionist now makes that technical part invisible and puts some sort of story, humanity in it, so now it's completely a experience as opposed to just, did you pick a card and is this your card? Wow, that was cool.
Right.
But why does that matter? Why should I care?
Right.
And most people, well, let's think about it. We only care about things that will affect us, right? I mean, honestly, if you crashed your car, I don't really care. But if I crash my car, I care. So now it's like, if you pick a card and I say this is your card, you're like, great. But if I say to you, think of a card, think about the day you were born, and how important that day is, because it's your destiny that you were born on that day. Shuffle the deck. Are you thinking of the card? Count down to the day you were born, and you count down whatever day you were born, and that's your card. It has a different connotation than just picking a card. Yeah. It changes the whole, like, you're thinking,
well, you just got one. You just got me involved,
wait a
too,
minute.
which is...
This is my birthday, and my card was there, and I say, that wasn't magic. That was supposed to be, because anything that's in your destiny is going to happen.
Wow.
It's going to happen. I don't even control that. That's what my show's about. That it looks like I may not be doing much, but I'm trying to almost be hands-off, saying all of this is about to happen. It can't really be reversed because this is what's supposed to happen.
That's amazing. I love that it makes it more personable that way, too.
Yeah, and it helps bring people in because they're like, oh my God, I'm involved. So I want to be.
Yeah, well, that's what, it's like you have a degree in marketing. Anytime you want to get people, interested.
But it's just natural.
It's kind of like, what's in it for me?
Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Talk about them.
Right. Well, what's the name of my show? I'm so vain. I mean, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
It's like people want to talk about themselves, and that's how I came up with the name. I'm like, I was going through, like the Rolodex of names in my head and going, well, wait a minute. I know when I talk to people and I ask the right questions and I get them, they're talking about them, talking
could just
about
go hello
themselves,
and then just let them
and
go.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you just let them go.
Exactly.
Everybody. It doesn't matter who you. It doesn't even. You don't have to be a performer.
That's
or it's like everybody. In the line at the supermarket, they'll turn around and you're that way too.
Yeah.
People just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm so vain because people don't realize.
Right.
They love it.
And it's a good thing to kind of step back and just go, hello, how are you? And if somebody says to you, well, how are you? You go, I'm really, really good. Thank you very much. But I want to hear about you.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they will let you have it.
Well, isn't it funny? I think you and I, we take it and we store that stuff too. And we not that we use it later, but for me, I take the stories that I hear and I create something out of it. You create something out of it. So I think that we're good listeners that way, and maybe that's a part of it, the way people want to open up or share with us. But I want to talk about Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
So you beat them. You fooled them.
I fooled Penn and Teller. I went on their show. I fooled them. Yeah. I did an illusion that required me to do some things that were for real.
Yeah.
And me to do some things that were not for real. And what happens is that in magic, a good analogy is this. If you see a juggler, you will see him juggle and you will automatically say, wow, that guy has got a lot of skill and he has actually practiced a heck of a lot to do that. Mm-hmm. Jugglers want to show you all their skill. Magicians do not want to show you any.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
That's true.
And so me or whoever, we may practice something that requires us to have a skill so that we can accomplish something. It may take a year, it may take 5 minutes. You're not going to know the difference because I'm not trying to show it off. Okay? When I did this for Penn and Teller, I have a skill that I mixed into the fake part that's real, and I challenged them to figure out which one is real, which one is fake. No. And if they didn't come back with all of it was real, then they couldn't get it, because not all of it was real and a lot of it was. And so they would just have to just go, we think you did it like this. They only get one shot.
Yeah.
They guess it, and if they don't get it right, I fool them.
Right.
Unless they say, you really did that, they didn't get it.
And they didn't get it.
So, and there was a lot to think about.
Do they get upset when they don't get it? Or are they like,
what?
oh man, I can't believe we didn't get it?
I don't think they get upset. I mean, they're inviting people on to do it.
They're like, they think they want to.
I mean, I've talked to Teller. I've talked to Teller, and he's like, I get a thrill out of being fooled, because it just shows me that I'm still learning.
I'm still learning.
That you could create something that is beyond what I've ever learned in my career. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't think they're professionals from beginning to end. I don't think that they get upset about
They've been doing it a long time, and they seem to know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they're professionals.
And so you do a show with them in Vegas after that?
So they invite you there to perform for them. When you do fool them, they send you this funny looking trophy, and it's called FU trophy.
Yeah.
Right. And so they send you this trophy, and you go there, and you either open for them or do an illusion in the middle of their show. They chose to let me do the illusion that I performed for them on TV after their evening show, and so I did it for their audience of, I think it was 1,500. So it was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And did that help your career? And did that help your publicity? I guess.
You know what? I mean,
obviously it's on television.
That show didn't necessarily, that performance didn't necessarily do much for my career, but I think that what happened was it brought maybe to the attention of people that want to come and see my show. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, if he fooled Penn and Teller, then maybe there's something more here that we should probably take a peek at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's good
advertising. So it just adds credibility to,
definitely.
I'm definitely not as famous as Penn and Teller, but being associated with Penn and Teller and going, well, I fooled two of the top guys, they're going,
that's a nice
feather. There might be something we want to look at.
There's a nice feather in your cap.
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
It was a great show. I loved watching it.
Yeah, and it was a fun experience to do that. I know their manager very, very well, and he was very courteous to me, and he was the one that pushed me to get on there and all that.
Well, I like your stage presence too. You're very handsome too. You're a good-looking man, so that makes it's easy on the eyes.
Are we dating now? What's going on?
No, I'm very comfortable in my masculinity. I can say what I want. Did I embarrass you a little bit?
No, I'm kidding. Thank you.
No, but it's like that. I mean, that helps in the
when you're on stage. You're on stage. It's basically. You're done. You're out there. Whatever goes. It's live too.
Yeah.
It's so crazy what can happen, and I've talked about it.
You said it's something like you've had electrical outlets. You have
the funny thing about being on stage and being a magician being on stage isn't the same as a comedian being on stage, because I've been to comedy clubs. I have friends who are comedians, and I sometimes will run around with them to comedy clubs, and I've heard people heckle. And you can heckle a comedian, and then you're going back and forth with insults. And if you heckle a magician, you could get in a lot of trouble. You could get in a lot of trouble because you don't know what he's got up his sleeve.
Your core might be missing or something.
You know what I mean? So some of my show, I almost encourage it because it helps me with the rest of the illusion, such as I saying that I can't really do this, and people going, "Oh, come on," and I'll be like, "Oh, I don't think it can happen." In the back of my mind, I'm just setting you up.
Right.
So if they're baiting on my little worm, they don't know that what I have planned. You know what I mean? So I will throw it out there, and if somebody bites, I go and get him, and I go, okay, let's get him in.
So that's
here.
fun for you.
So because it makes the show better. Because I'm saying I can't, he's saying you probably can't either, and if I pull it off,
then
it's 20 times bigger than it ever was before.
Yeah, that's true.
We started.
It's the build-up.
Right. So it's showmanship. It's basically you got to put on a show for 2 hours that usually, Disney will put $300 million into a 2-hour movie. I can't compete with that. So I got to deal with what I got in front of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, did you, I don't know this, my next question, I don't know the answer to it. I know a lot about you, but did you take acting classes or anything? How did you learn?
On the job.
Just
I've been doing
just
magic.
figured it
Yeah,
out.
I've been doing magic since I was a kid. Then my career started with I would put myself through college, waiting tables. I did magic 7 nights a week for 30 tables a night. When I waited tables, I started getting a clientele of people that wanted to see me do magic. Oh, we heard there's a magician at your restaurant. We want to be seated in his section. So then they started to follow me. I would do magic for them. Then on the weekends, I started getting corporate gigs. I did magic for 30 years, 7 days a week.
Wow.
That's pretty much all the training you need in every scenario. I mean, I did,
Yeah, but I mean, it's like your presentation.
I pretty
and
much
all that.
did
Just
every
that's
scenario.
Just,
I
that's
did
just
magic.
you.
I remember going to a party for a very wealthy man, and him going, you know what? There's a huge line of girls right there that are waiting for the bathroom. Go do magic for them. I mean, and then come into the bathroom and do magic for us in the bathroom because we're all waiting for. I'm like, what in the world? I've done it in every scenario.
You're like, whatever.
I've done magic for people in the pool. You name it. I've
Yeah.
been there, done that. You know what I mean? I did magic for cops at a DUI stop. They just stopped my car randomly.
Oh, no.
And they go, sir, did you have a drink tonight? I go, no, I just came from a party. Why are your eyes bloodshot? Well, because they smoked in the party and I couldn't get away from it. Okay, can you get out of your car? And I get out of my car and they go, so what do you do? I'm a magician. Really? Prove it. And then all the cops are standing there in the middle of the freeway and I'm doing magic for them.
And then you go, you should see me do this when I'm sober.
Yeah. I didn't take it that far. Too many men with guns.
They'd be like, what?
Yeah, too many men with guns. But anyways,
And then you're like,
so I've
am
done
I
it,
joking right now, or is that
God,
a trick?
It's
That
just
it's
been an
part of the trick.
amazing run
But-
in our career where I've done it, how many people I've run into and met, accidentally. I mean, I've met actors, actresses I would have never met if it wasn't for magic.
That's cool.
Would have
You
never
have
met.
a deck of cards there. You're gonna show me something.
Yeah,
I know the camera. Well, it's a little far away.
No, you
but
can. You don't even have to see this.
Right.
I was talking about earlier that sometimes it's real and sometimes it's fake.
Right.
I'm going to show you something right now that's real.
Okay.
Okay, and this is a lifetime of just misspent youth. I worked on this for years until I could figure it out.
Okay.
So this is a deck of 52 cards, and it doesn't matter, they've been shuffled, whatever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just put them here, and Josh, you're going to just pick up a certain number, and you're going to hand on me. I don't even have to look. I'm just going to feel.
That's quite a bit.
It's pretty much.
That's
okay.
Is that a lot?
I'm going to put these over here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to weigh them, and I'm going to tell you just by weighing them, you picked up exactly 23 cards. Count them. This is real. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Wow.
That is just simply
How do you do that?
picking up
That's
cards,
that's amazing.
feeling, and really, and it's
Wow.
not 22. Now, here's the crazy part. If there was 21 or 24, you wouldn't have been as impressed
No.
because it has to be
I'm impressed.
exact.
I was thinking 24 in my mind because that's my
You-
birthday
but
date. I'm
was
like,
that weird?
I'm like, come on, 24. He was at 23. I'm like,
Wow.
that's impressive though. I don't know how you do that, but that's wow. You said like a lot of time.
And you
like
cut-
if I
and
like
you
if I
cut-
held
and you
that,
d-
I
and
don't
you
even know
did-
how many cards are in the thing,
Right.
but I would say it's like 15 or 12 or whatever.
whatever.
It feels like nothing.
And
I'm
you
like,
cut and you took
I
that
cut it
off,
naturally,
and then
yeah.
the next card, the 24th card, would have been the 10 of spades, which is crazy.
Let's say that.
Yeah. No. See, that's
that would have
that's
been
the fight. That would have been good.
that would have been really good.
Yeah, that would have been good. Maybe the 10 of spades is probably maybe somewhere in here. It could or could not be. But this one probably follows the king of diamonds. Or maybe not. It's one of these in here. Do you think there's a 10 of spades anywhere in the deck?
That's what I'm thinking. It's not even there.
It may or may not be. A lot of people don't know that. But that's why we do magic. So that you can have a 10 of spades.
I felt that come out of my. That's weird. That's weird. I felt that thing come out of my
come out
shirt.
of your ear.
It came out of nowhere.
See, so there's a little bit of like, oh, did he make a mistake?
I like.
Did he make a mistake?
You got me.
What I'm doing is I'm lowering your expectation. I'm making.
I felt for you for a minute.
I'm getting you on my side a little bit.
You did.
So that you don't chase me. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get him on my side a little bit.
You got me.
And then I come back with, oh, look, it's magic. And then you're just like, okay, so that was all just a. But just for that moment, I keep you on the level playing field to keep you from being like, I'm going to watch every single hand.
Did you get that on camera?
The moment you feel sorry for somebody, you stop. You stop.
Actually, because you kept going card after card, I'm going. Uh-oh.
Why is he messing all this up?
He totally messed this up.
Right.
I'm like, you got me.
So that's the demonstration of sometimes I lie to you, and sometimes I tell you the truth, and you don't know which one it is.
Right.
And you don't know which one.
I still don't know.
Right. See, my wife has a problem with that.
It must be fun living at your house.
She's like, you lie for a living. I don't know if I trust you for that.
Like, you trickster.
You lie for a living. Like, I don't know if I trust you on this one.
That's a good. It's a great point. But you're a really good person. I would trust you in a real situation.
Right. But that's the demonstration of the part where I say it could be real, it could be fake, and the acting can come into that. I'm not a trained actor at all. I wouldn't even know where to begin to do all that sort of stuff, but I know that in my show, I kind of turn into this other person.
Well, you know how to cry on cue now.
I can cry on cue, and I can turn into a different person that can lie to you and try to make it as believable as possible.
Yeah.
You never know.
No, I don't know. I really, I'm thinking about what part of that was.
Which one was the lie?
Yeah, where did you? I kind of feel, because I felt for you, and I'm like,
the 23. Was it real or fake? Did I really?
That was
know?
Real. The 23 was real. I counted. You didn't add any cards. That was me.
That was you.
That was me. That was real.
Right.
The other thing, you got me because I was like. Kind of feel it, because
he's messing up.
Because you went into another thing, and I'm like, oh well, this is like an extra part of the. I thought that was a trick. I thought that was the thing. I'm like, I'm.
So magic properly done is the equivalent of being snuck up on in a quiet room and somebody going boo. You don't see it coming. You're like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
If somebody. Like if you imagine you're sleeping and somebody just nudges you slowly but surely and you kind of groggy and you wake up. So you've been told you wake up. But if somebody comes screaming in the room and with a loud speaker, you just wake up, your heart's racing, your blood pressure's up. That's good magic.
That's good magic.
That's good magic.
So we only have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your show. Let's promote you. Let's get you out there. People.
So my show is called Secrets and Illusions. It's a show I opened up last year in 2018. I've been touring nationally with it. Secrets and Illusions is the reason why I named it that is because throughout the show I reveal to you secrets about life and about how to succeed in life, all through illusions. And all the illusions have a storyline about something to do with life, facing fears, finding your destiny, love.
I'll say love was one of them. Yeah.
Love was one of them. Falling in love. We talk about a lot of different premises in the show in a lighthearted, funny way. The crazy thing is that some people will come up to me and say, Yvonne, we didn't think the show was going to be that funny. And what I say is, well, it's not supposed to be funny. It just happens to go funny if I get crazy funny things happening on stage with a lot of the people that come up. Because when you get a married couple up there, trust me, things will begin to get
it's
funny.
Like uncomfortable funny.
Yeah, I'm just directing, and I'm kind of poking.
Just let it.
I'm poking and trying to. I might say one or two things that are scripted, but the rest I'm kind of letting it naturally unfold. So a lot of the things will happen will be as a result of the situation that is happening, just like a sitcom. There are no real jokes in a sitcom.
Yeah.
It's just all the situations are funny.
Yep, the situation.
And that's what happens with my show. So once again, it's exciting for me because of the fact that I don't know what's going to happen, even though I know what I want to do. I just don't know what person's going to be up there, what couple's going to help me, what they're going to say, what they're not going to say, if they're going to faint, if they're going to run off stage. Who knows what's going to happen? And so that keeps me on my toes. And so the show not only has a storyline, but it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the end summarizes everything that happened throughout the entire show. That really kind of just ends it like a book. Like, by the way,
it's a story. It's a great story.
It's a
so
story.
throw out your website again where they can get tickets.
You can easily go to secretsandillusions.com, spell it all out, and you can find my website there. My name's a little harder, IvanAmodei.com, IvanAmodei.com. I'm traveling all over the world, but this will be the last day I'm in Southern California until we head east. And then we're going to Denver, Colorado. We're going to Ohio. We're going to Chicago. We're going to Boston for a week. Florida. We're going to be in New York. We're going to be everywhere. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we plan on being there this Saturday, so we look forward
awesome.
to it.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Check it out another.
I have a concert violinist in the show that I didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really great.
I was going to mention that. I didn't know if that was kind of
No,
of the
it's
secret.
great. So I have a concert violinist, and she is great. She accompanies the show, but she doesn't play music and then you see an illusion. She plays music. She accompanies it like a musical where she's playing sound effects, and she's really paying attention to all the little different things that are happening, and she'll improvise as well. She definitely is playing music that is choreographed, but if things happen and funny things, you may see her go off course and just go on her own range. And I usually never have much to say about it because she's going in her direction.
That's cool. That's
really
so
cool.
I
it really
enjoyed
adds
that
to the show
aspect of
because
it.
it brings the emotions to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's really a good.
I just want to say
fun
thank
thing.
you for your
You're
time.
welcome. Thank you.
You're a good friend. I appreciate
Been
you.
fun.
Love your magic. Love your illusions.
Awesome.
And thanks for fooling me today.
Hope you guys come.
Hey, thanks
we'll see
again.
you there.
We'll see you next week. It's I'm So Vain with Josh Carmichael. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
You're listening to I'm So Vain with Josh Carmichael, only on LA Talk Radio.